All right, you guys. So we're gonna do part 2 on the have and have not. See, it was so good, so no wonder. So we're back to where I left off. That Benny is showing Hannah the house, and she's skeptical. But he's like, "Look, how about you think about it, and in the meantime, how about we think about it here? Let me show you your room." So he shows Hannah the room, and it's nice. And they even make a little joke. Benny was like, "Don't bring no guys in here," because you remember he walked in on Hannah with old boy, and then Hannah clapped right back, y'all. She was like, "Oh, well, don't let me bring up old girl," talking about Veronica, and he was like, "No, don't bring that up," and no, I'm not still talking to her. So then he shows her the closet, y'all, and it's full of clothes. Now, what I couldn't grasp was, did he buy her a whole new wardrobe, or did he bring the clothes from their house, like assuming like, "Oh, I already know you're gonna say yeah, so here's the clothes." So she was excited or whatever, but I don't know, because she's so because she is so suspicious. I would have been hesitant about buying her a whole new wardrobe just yet, but I don't know. Long story short, you guys, she's kind of happy about it, and she decides to at least spend the night there, and she's gonna cook him dinner. And I was like, oh yeah, back to Benny being a little player. She's all nervous about it and was like, "Oh no, I'm not selling my house. I'm not gonna live here. I don't trust this kinda." Benny pulled the moves on her. He was like, "Don't you believe in God?" Well, okay, I have two kind of feelings about that. Like, don't you believe in God? Like, maybe this is your blessing. Like, stop trying to block your blessing. And that made Hannah give in. So in that sense, I kind of thought like, oh, Benny was doing a little player. But in the same sense, like, don't play with God like that. This ain't of God. I know you don't know what Candace really did, so you kind of are in the clear, but don't make it seem like you telling the whole truth and this is a blessing from God. Like, it's somewhat a blessing. Like, hey, somebody who don't have money got one free house, free business, so it is a blessing in a sense. But boy, you don't know what was the ungodly things that was done for you to have all this. So I was like, don't play with Hannah's Lord like that. But in the sense for what we're talking about, Benny pulled the moves on her, like, "But this is your blessing, like, just take it." And so that's one reason that let Hannah spend the night. And then he also pointed out, okay, and Quincy is looking for us, and he know where we live already, so even further more reason for you to move here. So Hannah agreed to stay, and he was like, "Cook my favorite dinner." I'm like, all right, like I said, all this time I've been giving Benny props or whatever, and I still give him props, but two things. Number one, if you come to pick me up from my job, I don't want to drive, like, because he was like, "Here, drive it." Now, I understand when it's my car, maybe you'll be excited to drive, but I just got off work. I'm not about to drive. So that was one thing. I was like, eh. And then after he hit her with the house and the wardrobe, he's like, "Now go fix my dinner." I'm like, with this house and wardrobe, we better order some food. So I was like, oh gosh, he was almost there. He was almost out of the mama boy thing in my head, like, oh, pulling up at the job saying sorry, busting with a new house in the car. But then added some work for me to do, to drive and to cook. You could have took them two things out, and then I would have been, can y'all see that? Hope not. Then I would have been 100% happy. But anyway, y'all, let's roll on. So the next scene is Candace and Oscar. So Candace is meeting with the social worker lady, showing her the house. Y'all, this social worker lady starting to get on my nerves. At first I was like, all right, another sister acting, and I like her natural hair, but she's starting to get on my nerves, y'all. She not playing her cards right. Like, she's like, "Let me see the lease." So she looked at the lease, and then she was like, "All right, well, I called your job. Your brother said you don't work there, and I looked online and I see you used to escort." Like, girl, you don't be saying all that stuff. Like, even if you know it, like, give it to the judge. Like, don't show all your cards, because it seemed like she on Hannah's side. So I'm like, don't show the person whose side you not on all your cards. Like, I didn't like that she revealed all that. So Oscar was right there, you guys, and so he's hearing everything once again, and I just don't trust Oscar. So now she know. Remember, Oscar told her that Candace told Oscar that she had $50,000, and like, that's it, And the social worker lady revealed, like, "Oh, you wired $1 million to the realtor." I saw that in the lease, and even Oscar's eyes peaked up a little bit. So now Oscar knows that, and Candace told her, like, "I never told you where I worked. What you mean they don't know me?" And the lady was like, oh, I looked up the place your brother said. And she was like, oh, well, I haven't started yet. And then so Oscar kind of came in to rescue, like, look, we just want to get the kid. You see the house, you see the lease is in her name. And if you need me to show that she has money, I'll send her some money right now. I love her. I want to be with her. So I'm willing to take care of her and her son or whatever. So he wired the money. But see, I was suspicious of that too, because now he got Candace's bank account number. He was like, Candace, put your bank account in there right now, so I'll send it right now. And I was like, first of all, BS. Doing that in front of the social worker does not make a difference. So, Candace, don't I know you're trying to get your son, but don't slip it on your pimping when it comes to this Oscar or whatever. So the lady was like, all right, it's still up to my boss. Custody usually goes to the mom, but we'll see, right? So, So that was that. So the lady leaves. And Candace did call Oscar out. She was like, man, I knew I shouldn't trust you. The way you lied to that lady, I knew my guards was up about you for a reason. Did you really send me the money? And Oscar was like, yeah, I really sent it, but you got to give it back. You got $1 million. So I know you good for it. So yeah, I helped you out because I do want you to give your son, but you got to give me my money back. And just how you saying you couldn't trust me, how I lied, well, you lied too. Like, he didn't point out like, oh, you never said you had $1 million, but he was like, yeah, clearly you lied about some stuff too. So I guess they feel like even. So they have sex in a hot tub and move on. The next scene was Maggie and Jim. Maggie came to Jim and was like, look, this whole story about you having a baby mama and kids on the side has spread like wildfire. And because I wasn't prepared, I could not stop it. So now everyone's talking about it. And I don't think you should run for governor no more. All Jim said was, all right, I'll denounce it tomorrow. And Maggie walks out. She was like, all right, I'll write your speech. But he looked so nonchalant. He didn't rebuttal. And I'm surprised Maggie didn't pick up on that. But David was in there and he was like, Jim, I know that look. What's going on with your head? And he like, nothing. But David was like, I've been your friend all this time. I know you thinking about something. But I'm going to just let you know, if you do anything to my wife, then me and you going to have a problem. Jim was just like, all right. Jim not here for nothing right now. And I don't know, you guys. Like, clearly, I don't want Veronica to die, but David needs to admit, like, dang, this is some crazy stuff. But hey, at the end of the day, when your real wife or your real kid do something that's really illegal, you still love them, So I can understand at this point why David is still like, hey, yes, that was horrible, but you're not about to kill my wife or whatever, right? So Jim didn't really say nothing. And then he makes a call, you guys. I'm assuming it's to the lady who kidnapped Candace that time. He was like, I need a bloodbath. I need Terrell, who we know is the black police officer in the jail. And then he said he needs the professor killed, the professor that raped his daughter, and he needs Veronica killed. So you guys, Jim then made the call to get a hit on the professor, Veronica, and Terrell. And I'm just so sorry for Terrell. Like, hopefully they reveal that, but I just felt like, I don't know. I just don't see that being Terrell's fault. Like, I would maybe think you could kill Veronica over Terrell, because Terrell was just following orders, just like your boy is following, your police guy is following orders. So it's not, I just don't think it's Terrell's fault. I mean, maybe we'll see some more, like maybe he took money, or, maybe it's some inside. Well, clearly we know he's did something, but still, I don't think he should get killed, but that's just me, rooting for the underdog or whatever. So anyway, so Jim makes that hit, you guys. So we'll see what happens. So that's it, you guys. The last few little scenes was Benny and Hannah in the kitchen kind of after dinner. He make a joke like even eating in the house with a nice house makes the food taste good. And even though that sounds silly, I could see that too. Even if they did order like McDonald's or something, me eating McDonald's on a lanai poolside or a nice counter is way better than eating McDonald's in a single apartment on, I ain't gonna diss nobody's street, but, or I do my own, well, I ain't about to say my street, but, whatever, in the hood or whatever. So, hey, that was kind of funny, but, so that was that. And so one thing I do appreciate about Benny was like, he told Hannah, like, I think that Candace need to have the baby. And Candace, like, Hannah was just like, what? And she was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, I think the baby needs to go with Candace. So I appreciate him being honest with his mother about that. But then Hannah revealed, like, look, I talked to the social worker once, and she couldn't verify Candace's job. And I know you saw it, but I think she's pulling the wool over your eyes. And Benny was like, no, I saw the door, I saw the name. And Hannah just like, she conned you, Benny. And Benny's just like, no, no. So we'll see, you guys. We'll see if Benny finds out the truth. And even if he does, I really hope that Benny gets to keep the spot, gets to keep the house with no strings attached, regardless of what happened with Candace. I really hope so for his sake, because he really want to do the right thing in life, you know? So hopefully everything works out for Benny. So in the previews, they show who got referred to as a gigolo? Oh, Hannah. Hannah finally confronts Benny, like, we're okay, for real, like, where's all this stuff coming from? And Benny was like, no, I'm not a gigolo. And she was like, well, you gotta understand why I'm asking, you know? Veronica and Hannah. Hannah said something to Veronica like, oh, back in the day I would have dragged you across this floor, don't mess with me, or whatever. So we'll see what they're getting into each other about. I'm pretty sure it's Veronica sleeping with Benny. So it looked like Veronica and Hannah have a little confrontation, and then, you guys, we see Quincy choking out the CPS lady. I'm like, Quincy, that's stupid. Like, she know your name, they know your address, and you gon' choke her and in front of the son. And the son's like, Dad, no. So that's sad, you guys. I hope nothing too bad happens. And like I said, Quincy, the sister told Quincy, like, oh, you need to go get the kid. And this was when the police was at her door. The police asked the sister, did she know where Quincy was? And she told the police, my brother is in jail, even though he was right on the other side of the door with her. And then the sister told Quincy, like, now go handle this. And he was about to go out the door right then. She was like, after the police leave? So Quincy clearly not that bright. And he seems to be taking orders from the sister, which is surprising because he kind of comes off hard with Veronica or when he was in jail or whatever. So I was surprised to see that the Quincy was a little bit weak. But I was like, maybe because he's sick, or I don't know. But whatever, you guys. So, all right. That was the haves and the have-nots. It was so good, you guys. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen with the kids, with Jim's side kids. Is he going to start talking to him? Because Jim eventually apologized. And the older son was like, it's a little bit too little too late. And see, the fact that Jim apologized, that was admission that, hey, that was his son. Like, I wouldn't have said sorry right then on live camera. You know, but I guess he didn't have no choice. The lady already said, oh, we got DNA, Celine has confirmed this. So I guess at that point, he probably didn't have anything to do, but nope. If I was them, I would have stayed stone cold faced and forced the camera to stop. Live TV or not, if I don't say nothing, somebody gonna stop shooting in the first place, pan to commercial, or just let the lady finish talking or something, you know. So that was that. And y'all